to move on to the latest from President Trump. His comments defending Vladimir Putin, comparing the U.S. to Russia, have sparked a backlash from Democrats and Republicans as the legal battle over his travel ban intensifies. New court rulings could come as early as tonight. Our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tracking it all. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. This new White House could be on its way to a Supreme Court showdown, but that travel ban is hardly the only controversy this morning. The president under fire for those comments about Vladimir Putin from even those in his own party. The president and first lady hosting a Super Bowl bash in Florida, complete with cheerleaders and a marching band. But it is an interview he did with Fox's Bill O'Reilly before the big game that has ignited a big controversy. President Trump coming to Vladimir Putin's defense, saying he respects the Russian leader.
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. And if Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world,
right,
major fight, that's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea. It's very
He's a
possible
killer,
I
though.
won't.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
There was bipartisan backlash, Republicans pouncing.
There is no moral equivalency between the United States of America, the greatest freedom-loving nation in the history of the world, and the murderous thugs that are in Putin's defense of his cronyism.
And now this morning, a battle on another front. Travel restrictions still on hold, and foreign nationals from those 7 majority Muslim countries now entering the U.S. President Trump angrily responding, firing off tweets Sunday saying, "Just cannot believe a judge would put our country in such peril. If something happens, blame him and court system. People pouring in, bad." In another tweet, the president called him a so-called judge. This is the judge drawing President Trump's ire, James Robart.
The state has met its burden of demonstrating that it faces immediate and irreparable injury.
Robart agreed with the Washington State Attorney General that businesses, universities, and the state's tax base would be damaged by Trump's order.
The order is illegal and is causing serious immediate harms to our states, to our state institutions, and to our people.
But the Trump administration says the states and the court have overreached their powers.
Because this is an area where Congress has delegated authority to the president to make these determinations. It's the president that gets to make the determinations, and the court doesn't have authority to look behind those determinations.
SNL having a field day, now taking aim at White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Yeah, Spicer is calling that skit cute and funny, but he says he would rather be focusing on issues. The big issue right now, of course, that travel ban. Nearly 100 tech companies from Apple to Google filing a court brief against it. And now former Secretaries of State Madeleine Albright and John Kerry are weighing in. George and Robin, they say the ban harms national security.
Okay, let's look at the law and the politics now with Dan Abrams and Matthew Dowd. And Dan, let me begin with you. What's at issue today? It's going to go back to the appeals court tonight. They could make a ruling as early as tonight, just on whether or not this travel ban should stay on hold.
That's right. District court rules temporary restraining order. No one has decided on the ultimate merits of the law yet. The question is, do they need to immediately stop it? That's what this judge did nationwide. So now the government is appealing to the appellate court, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals there, saying we would like that particular ruling overturned. So all we're fighting about for now is the limited question of, do we need to stop it immediately as we wait to evaluate the broader issues
involved? And even
that
could go to the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. No, look, if in either case, if the Ninth Circuit, however the Ninth Circuit rules, expect some sort of appeal. The big question, of course, is, does the Supreme Court take it? Everyone seems to think, oh, well, you know, it's obviously going to go to the Supreme Court. Yeah, it's obviously going to get to the Supreme Court, but that doesn't mean the Supreme Court's going to agree to hear the case.
Right. It takes 5 votes to hear the case.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Abrams.
And I know, Matt, you have had an opposing view about this, but let me tell you, Cecilia Vega, in that report, we saw, of course, the Twitter attacks continuing with the federal judge.
Well, I'll never oppose Dan Abrams on legal stuff, so I'll let him, if he doesn't oppose me on political stuff. As I was watching the excitement surrounding the Super Bowl, I was thinking about a whole new group of patriots. not football fans and not football players, but founders of the Constitution, who I think would be looking at the last 72 hours in befuddlement and watching what's happened, watching the question on checks and balances, watching it sort of seems a lack of understanding about what our constitutional values are in this. I think it's amazing to me that Donald Trump has criticized a federal judge who was appointed by George W. Bush, who's a Republican constitutionalist, more than he has Vladimir Putin.
And could those comments about Vladimir Putin, could those hurt him?
I think they already are. I think what you're seeing for the first time, the break in the Republican wall, I think they have been united behind him in the first part of his presidency. But as you watched Les George's interview yesterday with Senator Sass and other Republicans, for the first time, a huge amount of Republicans are coming out and say, you cannot make a moral equivalency between Vladimir Putin and the United States of America. And I think it's upset everybody from across partisanship.
It does appear that.